and thank you for leading your team and doing God's work each and every day at your community health center. And finally, unfortunately, a mom who has experienced centering pregnancy firsthand could not join us today in person, but we do have a couple testimonials from moms that have gone through the centering pregnancy program, as well as maybe some of their support in the family. And I invite Nancy back to the podium to share that with all of us right now.
We do have a centering group in Cincinnati, Ohio. It's not in Columbus, but we do have the support groups involve teenagers and women from all socioeconomic classes, and it's interesting how they come together. They also, and I look at the African-American population especially, but all populations, we really encourage their partners to be involved. This was one experience one of the partners, one of the dads had talked to us about, and he wrote about afterwards. He said, "A great experience as a dad. I actually learned a lot more than I expected. Great energy in the room. Great to share stories and help others possibly, and I picked up on something to do differently. Great to see the development of a child and how important it is to have the child inside the mother for almost 40 weeks. The brain development is so much different from 35 to 40 weeks. I would recommend this class to anyone. Great people, always willing to help, no matter what." Now, this is important because we have a lot of fathers that are not involved at all. And to say this father from the socioeconomic population picked up on how important it is, that right there saves you preterm birth. If they see from 36 to 40 weeks, he actually wrote it down, but that is important, then hopefully they'll support the mother in that. We also have grandmothers who, when you look at support systems, they're defined very differently for different groups. In the African-American population, lots of times they have more extended family come. This is a grandmother that had came. And she says, "This class was a wonderful experience for me as a grandmother and great-grandmother. The information these young mothers received in this class is very helpful. Each of the mothers were allowed to ask questions about the particular things they were going through at the meetings. They received information that enabled them to provide better care for their babies. There are so many young mothers out there that can benefit from this program." This is someone who lives in this community that's saying this. "The young mothers formed a bond, and they will help keep in touch with each other and discuss these experiences. This means that although the class is over, these mothers will continue to learn from each other. This class will continue to make participants better mothers. My congratulations to the staff for having a positive impact on future generations and keeping up the good work." We had one group call us a year later. We pass out phone numbers if they want to participate to show you. A year later, we got a call in our clinic, in our office, and one of the centering pregnancy groups where the children were a year old called us and said, "Hey, do you guys want to come down for lunch? Because we meet every month." This is nothing that we did. They met on a monthly basis. They picked it up themselves to kind of support each other in the community that they were living in. If we can build that kind of commitment in communities, it makes a very, very big difference. And as for mothers that reach out, I can think of many stories. One comes to mind. We had one of the moms that came in, and she had been through the foster system. Anyone who's worked with lots of times people who've been through the foster system, it's really hard to get close to them. And especially if your one-on-one exam visits don't last very long. She continued to come back to centering, so we figured she was getting something out of centering. There was another mother that was there with her mother, and they had a very nice family relationship. And as this developed along, the first mother, she kept coming. She really didn't have any support that we can identify. The other young lady came and ended up getting to be friends with her and developing a relationship and giving her that support. When they came for their postpartum visits, the one mother that had a family that was just wonderful had actually almost adopted this person into the group. She brought her in, she drove her, they had gotten her the baby supplies they needed, and she was friends, and this is the first time I think I ever saw her smile. And you could just see that. That cannot happen in a few minutes relationship in an office. They might get it, they might have a relationship with us. We don't want it, that's great, but they need to have relationships with other people in their community and build that in the community for this to pass along. I can go on with many different stories, but I think it impacts not just moms. It impacts dads, it impacts grandparents, it impacts the whole community to have a healthier community.